Welcome to the Mindset Architect podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 89. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. Time is our most valuable resource, and the fact that you're willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. Today, as always, I'm looking towards our future, and I'm wanting to make sure that we are aligning our mindset, our thought strategies, and our business strategies in a way that we can succeed. And, here we are, middle of May. And we may have experienced some things in our business and life that we weren't really planning on when we wrote our business plan end of the year last year. There have been some changes. There's things going on politically, economically, financially, all of that stuff. And so we may be at a point where it's just not quite what we thought it was going to be. And our future is not looking so bright. Some of us, the future may be a little hazy. Some might be, I can't even think about the future. I just have to think about right now. And that's what I want to talk about, because that's a dangerous place to be if you don't keep that light on bright on the future. You're putting your overall goals and vision at risk. So we really need to spend some time on how do we turn that light back on? How do we get you remotivated and excited about your future and get you into a place that your future can become your reality, not just some hopeful thing that's sitting out there that you wanted back in October, November when you wrote your business plan. So I'm going to go through 5 talking points or steps for you to look at to see how we can get you back on track and get that future vision to be so freaking bright that it's going to guide your way to the goals that you've set for yourself and the vision that you had for yourself, your business, and your life. The number one thing that we need to do is to go back and revisit the future vision that we had. Go back and look at the vision that you had cast for yourself for this year. I know if you're one of my clients, we talk in 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year segments. For this exercise today, I want you to just think about end of the year, the vision you set for yourself for December 31st, 2025. That's it. I don't want you to think too much further out into the future. We're looking to reconnect you to the now because we've got some time left to get to goal. Get crystal clear on that vision. Revisit it. You should have had it in your business plan. You might have it on a vision board. You should have it alive somewhere that you can be revisiting it daily. That would be the number one thing I would say when you're clarifying your vision. Do you have it in front of you? Do you know what it is? Are you crystal clear on what that is? And if you don't, that's step number 1. So either reconnect to your vision or cast that vision. And I want you to think about this in terms of a child, okay? I don't want us to get hung up on the how right now. We're going to get to that. I just want us to get to the place where we just believe it's possible and that it has happened. So when we think back to when we were kids, we played make-believe, right? And some of us might have wanted to be a nurse, a doctor, a fireman, whatever you wanted to be. And in that moment, you just saw yourself as that. You didn't think about how am I going to get there? How much school? What will the education cost me? Is there a test that I've got to take? Certification? How do I get a job? What's the money that I'm going to make? We didn't do that. We just believed that we were that person. If you have not done that with your vision, that would be what I'd want you to do first. If you have already done that with your vision, because you've listened to the podcast about it and you've worked with a coach that has you doing that, then I want you to reconnect with it. And I want you to get really comfortable with it and spend some time clarifying it. Just make sure it's there and that you believe it. You may feel frustrated about it, and that's okay. Yet still hold the space that it's possible, and it's possible for you. So get clear. And for me, I revisit my vision every day. When I do my journaling in the morning, that is the time that I always connect with my vision for the year. I may allow myself to connect for my vision in 3 or 5, yet for the most part, I know that if I connect and get to my vision for this year, that it's building and building and building, and I'll get to that 3 year and I'll get to that 5 year and it will be fine. So if you're not doing that, I would highly encourage it. I just take a couple minutes when I'm journaling and I write out my vision. And I write it out as if it's already happened. So if you look at my journal, you're going to see today's December 31st, 2025. This is what I was able to accomplish the year because of it. These are the things that I've been able to do and that I'm able to do. I get really clear every single day. It calms my brain down to know where we're going. And it gives it a course to head towards. And it also takes you from a space of your mind doesn't know if what we're doing is imaginary or real. And it allows you to experience the emotions and the feelings and everything that goes along with when you achieve that vision. So that is number one. Reconnect with or recast, whatever you have to do. And do you have something in place, a system, a strategy that you can revisit that vision every single day? It's the one thing that will keep you on pace for achieving it, and it will keep it bright for you. Number two is to just trust the process. All right. Just believe that what you have done strategically is the right thing. You might be discouraged if you're behind goal. I get it. Here we are, middle of May. For those of us in sales, we're really already working on second half of the year because of our sales cycle. And we may be frustrated or uncertain of how we're going to close the gap and get ahead and get to that goal. So you might be feeling a little bit discouraged. But what I'm going to ask you to do is really just trust in the process. Really sit with it and believe that it's possible and it's possible for you. Sometimes I'll have a client go find someone that's already achieving what they want to achieve or is doing what they want to do for themselves in the future and go interview them, take them out for coffee, ask them questions, just get comfortable with the fact that it's possible. Once somebody else does it, it's possible for anybody else. So you may go find someone that can help you rebuild your trust in the process, and you're going to learn from them. So take some time, be patient, and trust that what we're doing is going to get us to goal. You're a brilliant human being. You are intelligent. You have a strategy and a plan in place. And the first thing that I would say is just check in to see if we've been following the strategy we wrote or if we've fallen prey to some old behaviors. That would be number one. I'm sorry, that's the number two thing, trust the process. Number three is we might have to become flexible and adapt. In other words, pivot. We have these great strategies. We have a plan in place. And if we've been following them at a level 8, 9, or 10, and we're not quite getting to the goal that we set, we may need to look at doing some tweaks to the strategies that we have in place. Not remove them, just do some tweaks. And so take a peek at what you're doing and the results. And if it's not in alignment, we need to look at that strategy. I'll give you an example. And this is an example of something that you would never want to delete from your sales process. We all have a database, and that's usually our number one source of business. Probably 99.99999% of the time, database is going to be your most strategic path to get to goal or to get to a bigger portion of the goal. For this year, what we've noticed and the pivot we've made at Rethink and with our clients is we've been treating our database the same this year as we did last year, as we did the year before, as we did the year before, because we've got these campaigns in place and we have a set conversation that we're going to have with our clients. And some of the clients, as we're tracking numbers, is noticing that our business coming from database is falling off just a little. And we want to change that. So we can't just keep doing what we've been doing. So our pivot, our flexibility and adaptability that we're doing here at Rethink is we're looking at human beings' 4 basic human needs, and we're weaving that into our conversations and into our communication with our database. We're looking at certainty, we're looking at variety, we're looking at significance, and we're looking at connection. And we're revisiting all of our conversation and connection with our database to make sure that we're hitting on those things. Because here's what I know. We're feeling it as human beings, then so is our database. And if we don't change the approach, not ditch that layer of lead gen, if we don't pivot a little bit, we're not going to get what we need out of it. So we've seen tremendous change already in those that have started doing that. Simply made a small pivot to have people find certainty from us. So that might be providing them with data about their asset. That might be making a phone call and answering any questions they have. It could be a variety of things to create certainty for them. Variety is simple. Invite them to different events, invite them to do something with you, create some variety for them to get them out of their routines. Significance, I think sometimes sending and significance and connection can be tied together. If I want to make somebody feel significant, I'm going to take 2 seconds and do a custom text video to them that addresses them by name and something specific about them. Easy way to make them feel significant in your world and for them to feel connected. It was a slight pivot in what we're doing with database, but it has made all the difference in the world to wake that database up differently and get them to feel more connected to us. So look at your strategies and ask yourself if we need to be flexible or adapt and make some changes. That database is just one example of things that you can do to wake that up, or an example of a strategy that we might just need to tweak a little bit. I promise you, if database is part of your strategy in your lead gen source, you probably need to change your messaging to them, because the tried and true messaging that we've used for years needs to change just based upon what we're going through. What I love about making that change to those 4 basic human needs is that will create a level of connectivity that when things change and people are feeling a little bit more certain, even outside of your presence, your business will continue to excel. Number 4 thing that I'm going to invite you to do is really the power of intentional action. And this really ties into, do we need to pivot, or do we need to make some really small changes, or to have the honest conversation with ourselves? Am I really taking the action that I said would get me to goal? So really take a moment and look and say, am I taking those intentional steps, those critical intentional steps that are going to get me moving towards the goal? Or have I slacked off because they made me uncomfortable, or because I was feeling uncertain, I didn't feel comfortable taking that action? Take a moment and assess where you are with intentional action. If you struggle with this is, I talked about this on the last podcast. Sometimes when we're in a place of uncertainty ourselves, we can create it by setting smaller goals, or more achievable, quick actions. And so really shrinking down our goal to a 7-day goal, just a 7-day. That's it. We're just going to look at the next 7 days and make sure that we're taking the intentional action that we need to take. In a time of uncertainty, or a time that we're feeling a lack of certainty for ourselves, we want to default to what's comfortable. And what I know can be happening during that time is we stop taking action that makes us a little bit uncomfortable, and we default to what feels good. And in a sales capacity, that's going to be doing things that don't require somebody else to say yes to you. And those are the things that are not going to get you to goal. They're just not. So pay attention and look and say, am I doing my intentional activities? And really spend some time with that. Number 5 is timing and synchronicities. I personally believe, even if your business is down, if you just trusted the process and you did what you know will work to get you to goal, and you showed up at a level 10 in that activity, you're going to feel like something magical happened. I know this to be true. A lot of my clients and myself, when I make that commitment and I look at the growth opportunity that I have because I haven't been playing at a level 10, and I step into it, and even though I'm not seeing immediate results, even though I don't feel like it might be working, if I trust that process, in 30, 60, or 90 days, I'm going to see different results. And here's what's really cool. When we look at timing and synchronicities, we may be doing one activity, but we're getting results showing up from something else. And we may be like, well, but I was doing this, but I got this lead from over here. That's okay. That's synchronicity. That's the way that life works. Activity breeds activity, and action creates action. There's no coincidence. There's no just dumb luck. It's because you're out in the world performing at a really high level. This would be a time to do some journaling and to just really reflect on what you're doing and when you're doing it. So pay attention. Timing is everything. Part of timing, I want to have an honest conversation with you, is when do you peak in your performance? Now, for me, we've had this conversation. I'm unusually an super early bird. Like I get up 4:30, sometimes 3:30. I couldn't start lead generating at 3:30. That might create a problem for me. So I know that that's one of my peak times, but I also know one of my peak times is around 10:30, and then another peak is around 3, and then I have another peak around 7 o'clock at night. So my timing for the critical activities that I must do, I plug into those peak times when I have the most energy, when I feel the most focused, when I feel like I'm the clearest in my mind. That is when I set as my timing to do the activities. And it does feel like everything is in sync. Everything is flowing because I'm not forcing energy to do my most critical activity. When if I just waited 30 minutes, I'd be in the zone. I'd be in the flow. So pay attention to timing and synchronicity. So those are the 5 things. Connect, reconnect, clarify, create your vision, whatever that needs to be. Trust in the process, embrace flexibility and adaptability, embrace the power of intention, that those critical activities and actions that you must do, and then recognizing timing and synchronicities. That's where a lot of magic will happen. Now, I'm going to say this. We talked about not worrying about the how, but do you see how when we pay attention to those 5 things, the how shows up? And we don't get so caught up in the worry about how's this going to happen? How am I going to do this? We just lean into the vision. That's the number one thing, is to reconnect with that vision. In my opinion, it's one of the most important things, because when I get excited about, when I've lived it, when I've put myself in the place that it's already happened, figuring out the how is so much easier. If you are struggling with your strategies and your strategies are weak, when you wrote your business plan, if you just did it for the sake of getting the business plan done and putting it away and moving on, you may need to go back and reassess how you're going to get to that goal. And when you allow yourself to be in that creative space of the vision as if it's happened and you're living it, you feel a different sense of energy. And that is the time when you're going to be the most honest about the activities that you need to do. So even though it's not a step in here, and I talk about not ditching your activities, pivoting and making some tweaks, you may be someone that needs to redo your strategies. Because what I see happen often, and I just want to make sure this isn't happening to you, is we write this brilliant business plan. We've discovered how we're going to get to goal and to live into our vision. And it's beautiful. It is sellable. Like you could sell your business plan to somebody else, and if they followed it, they would have a great life. And that is here on paper, but we're over here doing something completely different. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We're hoping that things just happen, and we're not following the plan. Reconnect with your plan, assess your how. If you haven't been showing up at a level 8, 9, or 10 in your how, show up at a level 8, 9, or 10. Do that for 30 days and assess where you are. And if you are really honest with yourself and you just wrote a business plan for the sake of doing it to get your coach off your back, then really sit with, and you may have to redo your how. But it will be so much easier for you once you know the vision and you stay in that space for a while longer. Just remember, your future is here and our now is here. If we don't focus on our future, our now is going to pull it down. If we focus on this future and live into it and believe in it, it's going to pull our now up to it. So spend some time creating and connecting to that vision. It's a great time of year to figure this out. If you have a gap between actual and goal and we're behind, it's okay. Let's figure out how we get out of that. Go back to your strategies. We might need to do a little bit more than we thought we needed to get caught up to goal, but just spend some time. There's plenty of time to achieve the goals that you set. There really is. There's plenty of time. Right now, for me, it's May 11th. You might be listening to this podcast on the 15th. You might be listening to it in June or July, whatever. It's never too late to get back on track. It's never too late to show yourself some grace and to reconnect to that vision, because I firmly believe whatever you want is possible. You just have to lean into it. All right, team, as always, if you have any questions about this or anything else, please feel free to reach out to me. Tony@rethinkcoaching.com is my email. That comes directly to me. I don't have somebody sifting through my emails for me. I read them. You can also find me on all the social, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. And one of the easiest ways, if you need some help, is just go to our website, rethinkcoaching.com, fill out the box for a free strategy call, free 1-hour strategy call, and that'll come to me and I will reach out to you and we'll get that set up. It's the easiest way to get some time with me, and I would be more than honored to help you in any way possible. Go make it a phenomenal week. Trust and live into your future and the vision. Great things can happen. Let's make that future. What's that saying? Future so bright I gotta wear shades. Let's make that your reality. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.